Faf, that middle session today, obviously a good one for South Africa. Were you just starting to believe there was a glimmer of hope there while things were going well?
Yeah, that was a chat, this morning leading into the batting day. Taking a few chapters back from our previous innings as we played here, we said that, obviously 450 looks an extremely long way away. But if we can just have one or two good partnerships and get to tea, session by session, it will get smaller. And that partnership was the one that certainly myself and Rassie could feel like it was starting to get to the breaking point. Us versus them, that partnership going longer and then possibly putting us in a position of, possibly winning the game. Unlucky to get one to roll, and then obviously that momentum got back onto their side, and then they just ran with it. But that was the kind of fight and good clear game plans and solid techniques that is required for our batting unit to be more successful, and we've shown little glimpses of that in this series, but we've also showed that we're a little bit off where we need to be. Rassie would be a good example of what's been achieved. Working behind the scenes with Jar Cullis leading up to this test match, find that there was a little technical thing that he can work on and spend some time on that in the build up to this week. And it paid off, which is good. That's exactly what this batting lineup needs. It needs guidance, and then through that, hopefully, we'll start scoring the runs again. From a bowling point of view, I thought we competed through this series. It's a tough ask to ask, new guys making their debut to compete against bowling units that have got 500 and 400 test wickets in their pocket. So, yeah, I think if we're truly honest with ourselves, we probably let ourselves down in the batting department. We didn't put on that first inning totals to bowl to. Any team that bowls to big scores is a different bowling unit. So that was the difference for me and the two teams.
Sorry, just following up on the first innings thing, and not only that, but there were a lot of first sessions in the day where the guys were poor. I mean, they just didn't pitch. Is that just the sign of a young team, inconsistent, that sort of thing, or is there some other reason you can?
No, I think it's. It's obviously a fact of not being as mentally sharp as you should be, because you rightly say that there was on a few occasions where, someone would bowl a loose ball and they'll get a wicket early in the morning session, and that starts it almost starts the trend of the day. I did say for us to try and turn this momentum around in this test match, this last one, we needed to start well to try and stop that momentum that England has got over the last two test matches, and we didn't do that. We rocked up on the first morning where we bowled the wrong lengths, and they got off to a start of 100, I think it was 100 for naught at lunch, and then sat down at lunch and made sure that there was real clarity with the bowlers in terms of the plans, and we came back and we bowled better and we got 4 or 5 wickets that session, and that is unfortunately where with bat and with ball we're still lacking a bit of experience, and it will take time for us to get to guys where they can land the ball exactly where you want them to land the ball over a period of time.
You seem quite angry there with that whole scuffle with the ball in Stewart. What happened there, and how much of a momentum changer was that?
I think that's part of my character. I think if you go back, I'm always involved in a little bit of something somewhere in a game, trying to, show that fight that as the leader of the team that you don't stand back to opposition. So it's not like I'm looking for it, but if it comes across my way, then I won't back down. So that was just him saying something to me and then me saying something back.
That's another one, and Bernie's walked out the dressing room now. How long is this rebuild going to take, given all the experience that you've lost in the last couple of years? Yeah,
that's the reality of where we sit. That's obviously we've put some good things in place with a strong, experienced coaching team, and we know that through time they will guide players. But the experience that we are lacking now will also take time. It will take time for, obviously Bjorn got 5 wickets in the second innings and deservedly so get 5, but there's still a gap in from where the next tier of bowlers need to get to in terms of Rabada, Philander, Morkel, Stay and those guys. Andrich Nortje had a really good series and he's a huge, I think one of the finds for us. We always knew that he had pace, but the fact that he showed it with control and adapted different lengths on different pitches, that's what we need. We need guys to just come into Test cricket now and just take that, just shine, and that's been the case if you track it back the last 6-7 years. Even from a batting point of view, when we had a strong batting lineup, you'd get one guy into the squad that comes in and just does well straight away and just eases that transition period a lot sooner. I think we've had 9 debutants in 8 Test matches, which I think it's a record. I don't know but it sounds like it's a record in Test cricket. It just shows where we are. We're in a team where it's extremely young. It will take time, and I know I'm sitting here extremely disappointed. I know the coaching staff is very disappointed. I know you guys will be disappointed, and the fans should be disappointed as well. But every team goes through this. Unfortunately, we're at the stage where it's happening right now, and I have no doubt that in a year or 2 years from now, we'll look back at this moment where it was the not the turning point, but this was where it started for us. As I said, England one day team went through it. The Australian Test team went through it, I think about 3 years ago, where they were, I remember the one day the newspaper report said the worst Australian cricket team to ever represented Australia. It can feel and it can look quite bad at times, but there is a lot of talent, and I think you've seen that a lot of people are trying to help get the system right, so that in 2 years' time we'll be the team that we need to be again.
If we can keep the question short and sharp, please. There's a lot of.
Sorry, my answers are very long always.
Thanks. We've got.
Sorry?
Is Rassie one of those who just slotted in and gets it?
Yeah, so Rassie, as we've said in one-day cricket, his composure is certainly what's needed for this level, and that's why we backed him because it is a big part of Test cricket. It's that side as well, and then you get to the other part, which is the technical part. Test cricket is the version of the game that tests your technique the most. You get away with other stuff in the shorter format of the game, but yeah, if you've got a small hole in your game or a small weakness, teams with great bowling attack will just go right through that weakness of yours. And as I said, there was 1 or 2 things that he got out in a similar way, and the fact that he could fix it and score a very good 98 today, which unfortunately wasn't 100, but because it would have been one of his probably greatest knocks that he would have played. So yes, he's one of the guys that are in that era now of the next mature guys, 30-year-olds that needs to play for the next 3-4 years to get the team back to where they need to be.
Just you talk about there was belief in the batting lineup and the way you went today, but if you actually look at the scorecard, it's 20, 20, 35, 30. Is that just a dirty scorecard? Is it something that you don't even want to look at because you've been saying all teams that 30s don't win cricket? Yeah,
that's unfortunately why we're falling short. And they're not, they've put those big scores on the board, and that's the difference. That's as simple as that. It's trying to get big scores on the board. On a day like today, it can happen on a wondrous pitch. As you've seen, there was 1 or 2 dismissals. That was just nothing you can do about it. I think of Temba's dismissal was a ball that bounced from nowhere, and myself as well. That's pretty jammy. So you need things like that to go in your favour. And generally, when you're a team that is not running with momentum, those things goes against you. So you create your own luck.
Well, if you're going to do something silly like resign or retire tonight, we're going to be working until lunch tomorrow. So if you can give us a heads up sort of now, we can go on to Mr. Delivery.
Well, it feels like you've been pushing me that way the last while. But yeah, certainly, like I've said to you guys so many times, you don't make decisions like this when you're emotional or disappointed or anything like that. But I know that right now it doesn't look that the results doesn't look good, Certainly from a personal point of view, my performance this series was well below par, well below where it needed to be. In order for us to compete as a batting lineup, you need your big players to stand up. And if you look at the last, myself and the rest of our batting lineup, the last 10 test matches, we're all probably averaging under 30, maybe bar 20. So it shows you where we are in terms of confidence. It's incredible to see the same thing happen again. We spoke about the India ghost from 4 or 5 years ago carried into the England series. So we're in that same position again where all of us were lacking confidence. And as I said in the beginning of the series, we needed, the only way to overturn that confidence is almost 1 or 2 guys to inspire you with how they play amazing innings. And I think comparing the two teams, I thought Sibley, who was someone you would never expect to have changed things around. At Newlands came in and he scored 100, set it up for the rest of the batting lineup, and it's almost since then their batting just got confidence. So come back to your question. Now, for me, it's just a little bit of time off now to get away from cricket, get away from all the noise that's been happening, freshen up, and then come back for the T20s, which will be obviously a full strength England team and a full strength South African team.
Like in PE, you said you turn things around after a session when things have gone away from you. Why are you not able to make those changes kind of mid-session? And looking at the series as a whole, how do you think your captaincy went?
It's difficult. I mean, you always look at a captain and go, why didn't you why did you do that, why didn't you do that? But it's very easy to captain, if you talk from a bowling point of view, it's very easy to captain when guys can bowl to a plan. It's extremely easy, you set the plan, but if they don't bowl towards that plan, then unfortunately, you look like you're the guy that's doing it wrong. When a number 9 and 10 gets together and they start slogging the ball, you look like the guy that gets it wrong. I wish that I was so powerful that I could change it, but as captain you can't. And you saw in the previous game in PE, when Kesh and Pata were slogging it, no one is saying there, Joe Root, what are you doing? It's just because of our results. The people won't be saying that if we were winning. People won't be saying that if my performance were up to where it needs to be. So I don't see it as a reflection of tactically getting it wrong. I see it as a reflection of the performance of the team. People want answers when the team is not doing well, and they look to your captain and coach always first.
Final question, Dean.
Faf, you said that whenever something goes on in the middle, you like to get involved, and you went back down. Clearly, it went further than words. You made physical contact with Josh Butler. Do you think that crossed the line, and do you expect to be sanctioned for that?
I don't think even Josh or myself knew that we touched each other, because it was just myself and Brody at that stage having a go at each other. So I think he was just trying to get in between me and him. So I don't think that was, there was no malicious, is that the right word? Malicious intent? He was trying to diffuse the situation there. So he didn't do anything wrong there, and certainly I didn't even see he was there. So it was just words from Brody, and then a retaliation.
Do you concede as well that at that point England had been quite flat? You and Rassie were sort of taking the game away, and after that moment you got out, Rassie got out, the game changed. Do you think that maybe that was something that you could have avoided?
Well, if they planned to have a word and then a ball to stay low, then that's incredible tactics.
But you said you make your own luck, so
there we go. No, when you're in front of the game, it happens. As I said, it's got absolutely nothing to do. That's not me outside my bubble. Actually, Sam Curran threw the ball at me. He did nothing wrong. I was out of my crease, so that was not the problem. And then it just got a bit heated after that. But that's not out of my character. It's not out of my game plan. If you say something towards me, then I'll say something back. It doesn't take me out of my bubble. Doesn't make me concentrate less. They got a ball to stay low, and then if you get a wicket once you've bowled for so long, it always happens on wickets like this. Then you can get wickets quickly. It can happen like that. We've done it a few times here, especially in the last innings. You toil for a bit, you get one, and then you get plenty.
Thanks very much.